look at that. Does anybody play it already, the Silver Spear? I'm sure. Not really. Oh, let me play it for you. Geez, what a great way to start off the class. Play a few tunes, ask a few questions. Yeah, I saw all you guys nodding as soon as I started playing it. So it's a very, very well-known tune. So we'll definitely get it, no question. And we might as well just go ahead and we'll get the Jackie Colemans and the Silver Spear just like Sandy did. And maybe we'll put the O'Brien's reel in front of it to be a truly Cape Breton set that really does sound like 7 minutes in the key of D. Yes, Mel?
Raymond and I found finally a tribe here. There's an Irish folk group that did meet. And there is an Irish couple that brought this tune to the group that I'd never heard before. It's really pretty. I think it's an air, and I can't pronounce it. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, Aaron needs something rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
What is it now? I've heard this. That's nice. Oh, that's great. Very, very nice. Those Gaelic names, though, they're pretty hard. They don't exactly roll off the tongue. You usually got to try to figure out a way to remember them.
Mel, could you send that out? That's lovely. Sure. I can do that.
Here.
I guess I got an email list of names, so.
Actually, you could if you just post it on the chat here, I'll send it out.
Okay. Yeah, I just have a hard copy, so I'll have to take pictures.
Take your time, whenever you get to it, that's fine. But it is very nice tune, very, very nice. And yeah, I take requests there, fiddle players. You know, if there's a tune that you've been wanting to learn for a while and you never ever got a hold of, I probably know it. You know, somebody told me once it would be easier to list the tunes I don't know, which would be an interesting thing to do sometime. So I probably have it, and I'll help you learn how to play it. But not only that, it's so great to take requests from players because it brings up tunes that, like, maybe it's been out of your reach for a long time for a reason that I can help with. And then everybody else can get the same. See that? Very, very good thing to do. Some tunes just have particular challenge or whatever that keeps you from actually getting it for years and years. And it can be very, very simple. So anyway, keep that in mind. I'm all request hour all the time here. You know, when I was playing in the bars with my buddy Danny, he was basically a human jukebox, and I've never seen anybody stump him in my life, including all the really, really deep Irish stuff, including like Rebel songs, and nobody ever stumped him at McVeigh's Irish Pub, ever. It was just amazing. So I'm trying to be like that. Anyway, shall we get started getting these fiddles rattling? So let's start off then. We'll warm up with our easy one, the G major, nice and easy, and then we'll kind of we'll do some double stops. I'm going to tell you guys, I've been getting everybody to do these double stop patterns you guys are doing, and it is helping everyone. You guys finding that it's helping your intonation and your touch? That's great. That's great. Okay, so we'll do G major, scale, arpeggio, and a few double stops. And then we'll move on to A. Okay, here we go. Ready, go. right. Mine was brilliant. Now let's do the arpeggio straight away. Ready, go. Now I gotta do that again because mine was a little tiny bit sharp and I had to fight a bit. So let's do it again. I'm gonna see if I can fight less. Ready, go. Much better for me. How are you guys feeling about G? Getting pretty reliable? Good. Let's up the tempo a little bit. Scale and then arpeggio. Ready, go. Ready, go. Okay, so now, if everybody feels pretty good about their hand and it's behaving like it should, let's do some double stops. Okay, you guys know the pattern. If anybody gets confused, just ask me and I'll tell you what we're doing. Starts off with the opens. Okay, 2 long bows for each set. Ready, go. Opens. Octave. E. Octave. G. Octave. Third. Octave. Opens. Low B. And opens again. All right, double stops. Now, a note about that, I know that most of you guys probably use the Tuner app, which is a great app, and it's especially good when you're doing double stops because it usually shows you, and the reason I mentioned this is I was playing there, and I had my Tuner app on the computer, and I noticed that when you play a double stop with the Tunable app, it usually shows you which note among the two is at a tune. Okay, even if it's slight, like it'll just that little arrow, and that's what I noticed on mine. So a couple of times there, with the third, my low G, like it's still in tune, but that G is just a little bit, tiny bit on the sharp side. Now I'm telling you guys this, but when I say on the sharp side, my tuner is still green. But that little black arrow is on the right-hand side of the mark. You see that? So it is in tune, but it's just very, 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 very slightly sharp. And that's what my tuner is showing me. Now, if I get that There, the G is bang on. So is the B. Now it's still showing me G, but it's pretty well bang on, slightly. And remember, you're never going to be completely bang on. That black arrow is always going to move a little, and that's okay. You just don't want it to move too much. Okay? So just a note about the tunable app, because I know you guys are using it. Okay? Now, I was also going to say that notice where my right elbow is when I'm doing them double stops. Okay? Now it doesn't matter whether I'm playing double stops or just single line. My elbow is always in the same place. But when you're doing double stops, an elbow that's too high can really make it hard. Because all the weight of the arm goes into the bow. Now you're trying to do that balancing act with like twice as much weight. Very, very difficult. Okay? Watch my arm when I do a couple. Nice and easy. Even on those tough strings. See that? So no funky chicken required at all. And in fact, it's better to keep your elbow down here than it is to have it even higher than that. See that? Even this would start to cause me problems. So just to keep in mind, long-term goal. Anyway, let's do it again. Nice and easy. Ready, go. It's hard, I know. Nobody ever works on them like that. None of the teachers that I know ever do anyway. So is anybody having any problems? Anything they need my help with, or is it just to keep grinding away at it until the grinding sound stops happening? That's good. Okay, well, we'll leave G now, for now. Let's move on to A major for the tunes that we're working on. We're all warmed up. Here's your low A. And let's do a nice slow scale. Nice intonation and good sound. Ready, go. Okay, I had two whoppers. My G sharp for a second there was sharp. It was too sharp, so I had to lighten the pressure on it. And also my low A. My first attempt at it was slightly flat, so I had to press a little harder. You guys probably didn't hear that low A being flat because I could hear it right away and I pressed in. Nobody noticed. Okay? And that's what you want to do. That's what the finger pressure is for. It's an instantaneous fix, right? Right away, you come right up. And if you put a little wiggle on it, really nobody notices. Okay? So just to keep that in mind. How are we doing with A? Are people starting to feel more comfortable? How's the C sharp? The low one. Getting better? How about the G sharp? Getting more reliable? Let's do it again then right away. Ready? Go. Okay, I didn't have any whoppers that time. I was pretty good boy all the way up and down. How's everybody else feeling? Good. Now let's try the arpeggio at that same speed. Tuning speed. There's your low A. Ready, go. That was so good. Let's do it again right away, just like that. Ready, go. Okay, that was, for me, equally as good. Okay, how are you guys feeling? I can kind of tell how you're doing, first of all, by your faces, of course, and also the bow arm. And I'm getting better with all this Zoom experience, and I'm getting better at seeing a bow arm that moves confidently and one that doesn't. So I can tell that went pretty good. Let's up the tempo a tiny bit and see if it stays good. And let's do scale and arpeggio with no break, okay? We'll just go right on to the arpeggio, but when we finish the scale, we'll play that last low A, and then we'll play another low A to start the arpeggio. Okay, just to be clear. Here's your low A. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. little bit wonky ones, all C sharps. Interesting, telling. And even the one on the A string suffered a tiny bit on the way down. It was a little bit sharp for a second, just for a second. All right. How are you guys feeling at that tempo? Not bad? I know it's a work in progress, so that's good. So now let's take a look at these double stops in the key of A. A little bit harder. Tiny bit sharp. That's better. Okay. So, A major double stops. We start off with the 5th. And I'll give it to you so you can tune it. Okay, so let's take her nice and slow, 2 long bows on each set. Ready, go. Oh, I didn't. I'm only doing 1. Sorry, my fault. Two long bows. Give yourself a chance to do it. Ready, go. Geez, that is a workout. There's Simone. That's good. Okay, yeah. That's a workout. The key of A. So mine did really good, actually. I was surprised at myself. I didn't get anything out of tune. Even the E and C sharp double stop, which is a challenge. Hi, Simone. A very challenging one. Came out okay. I found the hardest ones, to tell you the truth, were the open A, open E. Okay, and it's because of how sensitive that E is. Any amount of too much weight and it flattens and it squawks. And also the A2, the C sharp and the E together also suffered a tiny bit for me. Just again because of that E string. I just had a little bit too much weight on it. That being said, I'm going to rosin my bow a bit. So I've done a lot of playing this week. And I feel like I could use a little lick.
I think these scales and everything are really helping my ear because I'm noticing when my violin's out of tune, I'll check it, and then it's only slightly out that I could really tell. So
that's
start
good.
to fine tune.
That's good. And if you find yourself improving on that score, do drop downs. And I don't know, there might be some people here that don't know about drop downs. Is that right? I haven't told you about drop downs? Oh, man, let me tell you right now. Drop downs are a great way to improve, first of all, improve your ear, and second of all, improve your accuracy, okay? And there's kind of 2 parts to it. So what you do is, first of all, you identify what finger you need work on. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I always need work on all my fingers, all 3. I should work on 4. I'm starting to work on 4 now because of this crazy Mason's apron nonsense that I'm got myself involved in. See this? This is only half of it. There's the other 3 pages. See that? Sean McGuire. And it goes way up to 6th position. And when you get up to 6th position, you have to use your pinky. Even in 3rd position, because you can't hit your open strings anymore, right? Because you're way up above that. So you got to get you good at your pinky. And of course, my friend Kim used to say, you don't want to be a three-fingered fiddler. So although we don't use it much, we want it to be there and strong, right? Anyway, so here's drop downs. So you got your tuner app in front of you, okay? And let's work first of all with third fingers. I find there, if you only do one finger, the third is the one to do, because then the other two kind of line up behind it properly. So here's what you do. You do it on all your strings. You look away from the tuner. You play your open A, and you bring your third finger down just where you think it should be. Now, you look at your tuner. What does your tuner think of that? Well, mine was in tune. Okay, I'm going to do it again. So you play open, you put your finger down. I think that's in tune. Oh no, my tuner says I'm flat. Okay, so now I'm going to put it down. I'm going to take that into account. Oh, now I'm in tune. And now, since I know I'm in tune, I'm going to play it for a couple of seconds. Let that ear get the message. This is a D in tune. Make no mistake. This is a D in tune. And then you do a few more. See that? Now, in my experience with drop downs, most people get 3 or 4 good ones before it starts to go awry in some way. Okay? And then when that happens, abandon it. Go to a different string. Okay, do the same thing on a different string. You can do the drop downs on all your fingers. The third finger would be kind of, I would say, the most important. It's a toss-up between your third finger and your first finger, because like getting your first finger in tune is also very important, and some of those notes are harder to hear, such as B and E and F sharp. Okay, so they require a little more listening. But the third finger, really, if you get those in tune, all the other ones line up behind it nicely. You know, even a stop clock is right twice a day, so you kind of count on that. You know what I mean? But you can do them on all your fingers. Let me give you an example of second finger drop downs. And hopefully you guys all have your tuners on there. So again, I play open, bring her down. Oh my God, flat as a pancake. Try it again. Oh! So I'm doing C sharp right now, and that one was way too sharp. Now I'll do a third attempt. Okay, now it's good. So now I'm going to maximize. Oh, that one went a little sharp. I'll leave it. I'll go to a different finger. Okay? Now, if you do second finger drop downs, be sure to also do the low position. Because the poor second finger, it has to do both all the time, you know? And I always say, right from day one, when your teacher says, okay, now do this with your second finger, right from that day, it has an identity crisis. And it doesn't know which one it's supposed to be today, you know? And it constantly wonders. And so I find the second finger needs drop downs on both. Then your ear really hears those notes really well. Same with the G. Oops, sorry. See that? Now what this is doing is, every time you make a guess at being in tune, and then you look at the tuner to clarify, your ear is getting trained. See that? Your ear, that tuner is saying to your ear, you're almost right, but you're not quite right, you know? And then once you get that, your ear starts to pick up and be able to tell whether you're high enough, and usually most people play flat. I gotta tell you, most people play flat. Once you get that happening, then it's the second part of the process, which is to get to know how it feels to be in tune, okay? The finger pressure and the placement and the shape of the hand. And the drop downs are really good for that. Really good for that. So that you feel good the same way every time. Yes, Mel?
I took a picture on my phone of that tune and I sent it to to your email address if you want to share it to the rest of the group.
I will. Thank you very much. Excellent.
Yeah.
So that's drop down. So that's, if you're having good luck with your ear, Jocelyn, you should definitely do some drop downs, because that's going to kind of put your progress way up really quickly. Okay, it's something that I devised for adults. It just seems to be a very quick way to get that working. You know, when you're a kid, they just keep making you play it and play it and play it. And I had my mom on the piano, right? Like, I remember practicing with my brother, and then my mom would be in the kitchen. She'd be like, "Is that right?" And she'd come over and play the note on the piano and say, you know, decide whether it's right, you know, because you guys know so much of the time you're plunking your fingers down, you're not even deciding, right? You're just kind of going for it. So just making that decision every time makes a huge difference. Okay? Anyway, that was a lot of yakking, but I think it's going to be very valuable for a lot of you. Now let's do more double stops, okay, before we're done. Once you get the hang of single string double drop downs, double stop drop downs are awesome too. Same thing. You're practicing getting it right the first try. And if you don't get it right the first try, then you do with the second try. See that? So valuable. You know, me and my wife talk about this all the time. She's a big practicer. She practices a lot, unlike me. And we were talking about how when you practice, so much of the time you're practicing doing it wrong because you're making attempts at it, right? And so when you do get the chance to do it right, and do it right repeatedly, oh my God, that's a strengthener, and very rare, okay? So keep your eye on that tunable and maximize. When you're getting it right, maximize, okay? Anyway, enough of that yakking. More double stops. And then we'll do Big John. Okay. Ready, go. Ladies. God, you're all ladies. This is the first time I know it. Jay dropped out for a couple of months, and now we're back to the all-girl squad, which is pretty cool. Sometimes I wonder, I always have more females than males in my studio, always. And the only thing I asked the wife, and she was like, it's because women don't mind calling somebody to ask for help, you know, with playing the fiddle. Whereas men are very hesitant. Which is a good point. Anyway, how are we feeling about the key of A? Everybody getting the idea there? Okay, good. Any questions or comments or anything like that about the intonation stuff, especially the drop downs I talked about or anything like that? No? I'm so glad Jocelyn brought that up because I haven't really talked about the drop down thing, and it really has brought, I don't know, like about 10 of my students a really far way forward. So really good way to strengthen all that. Now, let's keep that in mind for Big John, because Big John is basically 32 bars of drop downs. And so we'll see how we do with it, shall we? So we'll go nice and easy at first. And let's do it 3 times, because we've been working on this tune for a good couple of weeks now. So let's do it 3 times. We're going to get a little quicker every time. Okay? So keep your helmets on, your guns up, and see if we can do this. Okay. So let's start here. Okay, just about there. 1, 2, 3, and. Okay, now that really looked like it was a cakewalk for most people there. I didn't see anybody sweating at all, and I was hoping to see a few beads of sweat. So we'll probably up the tempo a little bit. You think you guys can handle that? I think so. I think so. Why not? So we'll do it twice, just like a double-barreled shotgun. If we don't get it the first one, we'll get it with the second one. Okay? And I didn't the second time through I didn't really speed it up that much. So let's see. Let's start here. So okay, we'll start there, and I'll watch for the sweat beads. Okay? 1, 2, 3, and... One more! Whew! All right. How are we feeling, everybody? Any deserters? Mel was a deserter. Sue was an occasional deserter, but she kept picking up the gun and firing, which is good. Who found that tempo kind of like no-go, impossible, really, without stopping a bunch of times? Anybody? Couple people?
The first part is tricky.
Mm-hmm.
The second part is, it seems to just flow, but the first part I still find it a little tricky, and if I concentrate on what I'm doing, I lose it. I gotta not think so hard when I'm playing.
Yes, it really helps. I haven't thought about anything in a long time, like 20 years. But I'll tell you what now. Let's talk about the tempo, though, while I am thinking. So that was kind of yum diddle 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 diddle, which is a bit of a hustle. Like it's it's not going to make anybody dance, but it's going to make them move. Diddle. Okay, so now that was I'm going to say that was around 65. Dum diddle 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 diddle.
Oh, you sure it wasn't 140?
Yeah, indeed. So I was working with somebody today that was jigs. We were doing jigs, and she was like, "Is that 120?" And it was actually 95. But jigs are tricky because the number for the metronome on a jig is usually higher than on a reel because there's only 6 notes per measure in a jig, right? So you can do that a little bit quicker in terms of beats per minute. But it gets confusing. I actually had a whole lesson with one guy who's a question-based student. He only asks me questions and plays for me a little bit. And that's like he asked me if it would be okay to have his lessons. Like he's a scientist, this guy, and he's from Guysborough County. And he was just like, I just feel like if I don't understand it, I can't do it. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to ask you questions. I was like, yeah, sure. So, and we went through metronome markings. It was actually quite helpful. So he was asking for a jig or a reel or a hornpipe or a strathspey, how many times per measure should the metronome click? And what should the markings at the top of the metronome be? Very good question, you know? So we went through all of them, and I gave him examples of the tunes and the beat patterns involved. And if you guys, any of you guys ever have questions about that, I don't mind at all talking about that stuff. It can be confusing, okay? But anyway, so that was 65, okay? So that means that if you were having trouble and you had to put the brakes on a few times at 65, I would back it up to 55 to work on it without having to stop, okay? Because when you want to play a tune fast, one of the first things you have to be able to do is get through it without stopping. It's really, really important. If you can't get through it without stopping a couple times, there's not much hope that you're going to get through it at fast tempo. See what I mean? So that's the first thing. Playing it at a tempo that allows you to get right through from one end to the other without having to stop. Or if you do, just minor. Okay? You don't really feel the tempo bumps on your arm until you get to the 10 beats per minute mark. So the difference between 55 and 65 you're going to feel, definitely. The difference between 55 and 60 you're not going to feel that much. Same with between 65 and 60. Very small difference. And so I think it's better to make the 10 beat jump. Now, of course, the faster you get, the jumps get smaller. Like the difference between 120 and 125 is actually, you really feel that. You know what I mean? But at these slower tempos, it's more of the 10s. Okay?
I think I'm still at 30.
At 30? Hey, man, that's all right. You know, if 30 is the tempo that allows you to get right through it, just keep doing it like that. Slow, 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 try fast. That's how I do it. Okay? Any questions about Big John? Because I think it's basically just to practice it.
What's our goal speed?
Entirely up to you guys. Let me give you an example though. Okay? So that was 65. Now this is a challenging tune. A tune like we were, I don't know, Silver Spear or something like that, you'll be able to do a lot faster, no question about it. But this is a challenging tune. So we'll put this up on the high benchmark, okay? So you know what it sounds like at 65. Here's what it sounds like at 75. Okay, and the thing is that there's nothing wrong with that tempo. I mean, I felt good playing that. It was still fun, but you're not going to run into it very much. Like maybe a session in the back room of a coffee house in Flin Flon, Manitoba. You might be playing Big John McNeil at that tempo. You know what I mean? With some music stands hanging around. But otherwise, we'll put it up a little bit. So now I'm going to show you 85. 85 seems to be the magic number for what I call you guys adult learners. I hate the word amateur, has negative connotations. So I call you guys adult learners. And 85 seems to be the tempo where the arm can still keep up with the hand. See that? Anything after, say, 85 to 95, anything after that, you really have to bow with your hand in order to keep up with the small muscles of your left hand. See that? Because that's the big thing, is the disconnect there. If any of you guys were wondering why you can't get past 90, it's because your arm has no hope of playing past 90 beats per minute. No way. See that? It's too big. It's gigantic. You have to be able to do it with your hand. See that? And if you watch me playing this tune up at top speed, you'll see. See that? And we worked a bit on that, you know, and we'll work more on it. But so 85 seems to be where the arm can still keep up with the hand. But when it gets faster than that, say 95, past 95, there's no hope. And so that's where many adult learners kind of hitch up. It's right at that point. So if you got it up to 85, that would be wonderful. See what I mean? Is you'd be right at that point, right at that halfway mark. And it's not really the tune's fault after that. It's your hand. You got to get more used to bowing with your hand. Okay? So at this point, 85 I think would be good. Now let me show you what that sounds like. See that? That's 85. So it's kind of a moderate tempo, you know. The Irish people would call that a stately pace. And it's actually a very well used thing in Ireland. People of a certain age really, really enjoy to play at the stately pace. I love it too, because at that tempo you could still hear the rhythm there, right? The backbeat, nice backbeat pulse. A jig is still accessible with the nice rhythm there at that speed, because if you go slower than that, you lose the rhythm, right? But that's the magic place where you can play slow and still have a nice groove and be able to practice it. So that's kind of 85 to 95 is the stately pace. Now let me show you what it is at, say, 105. Okay? There, 105. Oh, no, not 3 beats per measure. That would be very confusing. See that? So that's like dance tempo, right? You can hear somebody dancing to that. Now, I will tell you, the dancers that I play with would still find that a little bit slow, would still find that a bit of a pain in the ass on the leg, because for them, everything they do is flicky, and you can't flick slow, as you guys know. So that would be annoying for them, you know? So they would actually kind of rather it be up at the 114 mark. Let me show you that. See that? Now that would be nice and comfortable. Can you guys hear that metronome? When I get playing, you can't hear it because I'm in time with it. And so I'm covering it. That's one of the ways that you know if you're with the metronome or not. If you can hear it, you're probably not with it. Okay? When I was a drummer, my professor had the click track on a big loudspeaker right next to your ear. So it was kind of like clang, 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 clang. But even then, if I was right on with it, then it would become part of what I was doing, you know? And there's this famous bass player that played on every record in history. Her name was Carole King. And she said about playing with the metronome, you have to groove with the metronome before you start playing, which I find such good advice. And when I was a drummer, I had to count off the band. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And before, it was a lot of pressure because, you know, you started too fast and the boys are giving you dirty looks. Same if you started too slow, right? So I used to think about the tune in my head. 1, 2, 3, go. And then we do it. Worked every time. See? You get to familiarize yourself with it, then you're going to play with it. Okay? So all that to say, Deb's answer to Deb's question, 85 would be a really, really good goal for all you guys. And if you find 85 not too hard, then you're going to go up to the 95 or 105. And moving in 10s is where you feel it. Moving in 5s, you feel it slightly. But it's up to you. Everybody's different. Okay? Now, let's leave that. Do you guys want to keep going in the key of A, or do you want to switch to the hornpipe? Doesn't matter. Let's keep going with the key of A. Said the good Scottish man. Okay, so it's not a hard tune, but it's hard. And while I'm looking for it, I got to tell you a story about Dan R., the man, this fella here who wrote it. And there's so many stories about him, and they're all really good. But the one that pops into my mind now, he lived a lot in Windsor, Ontario, because he worked at the GM plant there. And many Cape Bretoners did in those days. Anyway, so, and he's supposed to play at, he still played the fiddle a lot for the Cape Bretoners in the area. And he was supposed to play for a wedding. And it was a wedding reception at somebody's house in Windsor. And it was a rich person. So it was right down on Riverside Drive in Windsor. And I don't know if you guys have been there, but there's a whole bunch of old white mansions that look like exactly the same on Riverside Drive from the Prohibition era. And so Dan R. pulls up to with his buddy who played guitar to one of these big white mansions, and he goes in, and there's like a buffet laid out, and he thinks, oh, this is great, I'm in the right place. So him and his buddy sit down waiting for people to show up. Dan R. instantly starts tucking into the buffet, and for some reason the first thing he's eating is these pickled beets. And so the red beet juice is down his white shirt like this. He doesn't even notice, eh? And then this woman comes down the stairs, and she's decked out in a big black gown with a black veil. And she says, who the hell are you people? And Dan R. looks up from his beets with the beet juice, and he says, we're here to play for the wedding, you know? And she says, the wedding's not here. This is a funeral. The wedding is across the street. Anyway, I could go on about Dan R. for a long time, so I won't. Let's see here. Trip to Windsor. Okay. So first of all, the first part is not that hard. Okay? It's very typical. It's two phrases, and the only difference between the two phrases is, first of all, the first phrase and the first phrase again are exactly the same. Okay? The second phrase, the first time around, at the end of it has an F-E-F. So that's going to be the last bar of the first line. There's an F-E-F there. See that? Now, if you look at the last bar of the second line, then you see that it's just a great big long A. See that? And that would be the only difference between the two times through the second phrase. The only difference. Okay? Otherwise, completely the same. When you look at the second part, it gets more complicated, but we'll do that in a minute, okay? So for the first part, very simple. First phrase, second phrase, first phrase again, second phrase slightly different, okay? Now let me play it slow, because that was fast with a bunch of extra stuff. I usually do a pickup, little scale up on the D string there to do it again. So that's it. That's the part. It's not that hard. The first phrase starts off with a long A, and then two short. See that? A short A and a B. And then we do this little kind of A minor arpeggio. See that? It's not A minor, it's A major with what they call the flat 7, eh? That's the 7th note of the scale there. And it should be sharp, but it's natural. So they call that a flat 7. It's quite a cool sound. So that whole bar sounds like this. Okay, let's just try that, you guys. Just the very first bar. And you'll see that the second bar has a similar setup. Similar, not the same. A long A. Ready, go. Let that G natural ring. Let's do it again. Ready, go. Oh yeah, one more time. Ready, go. And then we got this long F sharp. And a short one. Open. Again, up we go. See that? That's how that second bar goes. Let's try that together. Long F. Ready, go. One more time with that. Ready, go. A little easier. So now let's put those two little bits together there. We'll do the full first two bars of this A part. And we'll do it a good few times. Ready, go. Okay, let's do that again right away. Ready, go. One more time to be sure. Ready, go. Okay, now the next bit is a bit of a holiday because it's just basically a scale down and up, eh? See that? Easy. And then a little connector note of an F. And then this really, really cool part, which I love. So we got E, A2, 1, 2. And then we do the exact same pattern except starting on the A. See that? Same finger pattern, different strings. Let's try that bit there. This is going to be the last bar of the first line. Okay, let's try that little trick there. E to the A2. Ready, go. Yeah, let's do it again. Ready, go. Last time, ready, go. Okay, so now when you put all that together, then we do it all again with the big long A at the end. So let's try that. Second phrase, third bar of the first line. High A, down we go. Ready, go. F, E. Let's do it again. Same thing exactly. Ready, go. Last time, I swear. Ready, go. Okay, now let's try one more, but this time we're going to do the last two bars of the A part. So we only get to do that trick once. Well, actually, we don't even get to do it.
Which version are you using?
The one that I think I sent out.
Oh, I have one labeled 1014 Trip to Windsor, but I don't have anything else. And it's not quite the same.
Okay, so this one here, I got, it is a good, it says Cape Breton Reel right underneath Trip to Windsor.
Ah.
Okay, does that make sense?
It would, but I don't have that one.
Okay, I can send it to you. I thought I sent it out to everybody.
Lovely.
Let me make sure before we keep going here. Trip to Windsor. Yep, that's the one I sent out there, Susan. I'll just resend it. Susan. I have resent it. But yeah, it took a while to find a good version of it. I actually because none of the ones on the session.org were quite the right thing. But anyway. Okay. So now, let's try doing the ending. So that's going to be the last 2 bars of the A part. Very much like the second phrase, but a big long A at the end. Okay? Last 2 bars of the second line. Ready, go. Let's do it again. Same thing. Ready, go. Okay, so now, by rights and theoretically, we should be able to go right from one end of this part to the other. Anybody have anything that's going to get in the way that we should address beforehand? All right, that's it. Helmets on, guns up. Let's give it a try. Oh, 1, 2, 3, go. Did it work? Yeah? Okay, great. Now, I will tell you that there's a couple of ways that you can handle the pickup to start the tune again, okay? Now, what you can do is you can either just play what a lot of people do, and I got to tell you what most people do, is they just play the second phrase again fully in its entirety. So it sounds like this. Just like that. See, it's a very, very common way to do it. So you can just do that. What I do is I do a little scale up on the D string. So see that? And it's all it is a triplet starting on E. Only thing you got to be careful of is make sure you play the G sharp and not the G natural. Okay? And then when you get to the A, that's the long A. So see that? So that's what I do there if you wanted to do it that way. And that's what I'll continue to do. So now, let us try to repeat the part. Let's play it, say, 4 times. Unless there's any problems, let's give it a go 4 times. Is that good? All right, let's do it. Nice and slow. No rush to get to Windsor. That's for sure. Okay, ready, go. One more try. Last time. How's everybody feeling? Halfway to Windsor? Which would be that place that you heard in the news lately. What was that place where they revived the paper? What's it called? Anybody know what that place is called? Oh, it escapes me. Tilbury. That's what it is. Tilbury.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the paper had closed.
The run that you do when you connect, like when you've done, I guess, party once, when you move back into party.
Yep.
Again, is that EFG?
EFG sharp. EF sharp, G sharp. Yes.
Oh, that's why it didn't sound very good. I forgot.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to remember the G sharp, eh? That's the thing in the key of A. It kind of... It comes back to bite you. Especially since in this tune we got the G natural there. So it's easy to confuse. So you got to make sure you do that G sharp. Any other questions about the A part before we leave it? Anything? No? Okay, good. Second part. Now, definitely the more complicated of the two. So let me play it, the first phrase. So this time, see... We don't have first phrase, second phrase, first phrase again. We don't have that to rely on. This time we have first phrase, second phrase, third phrase, but then if you look close at the last phrase, you'll see that it's the same as the A part. Thank God. A twofer. See that? So the ending for each part is exactly the same. Thank goodness. Okay? So we really only have 3 phrases to learn, but we don't have the repetition to count on. So the first phrase of the second part, not that hard. See that? What's a nice phrase. My God. That guy was a genius. Let's try playing that then, shall we? E, F, E, C, E, F, A, E. Slow. Ready, go. Let's do that again. Tasty little phrase. Ready? Go. One more try. Ready? Go. Now let's add these pickup notes. Little reprise of the CB you just played. Yeah, that's why I like to split them up. Very confusing. Now let's check out this next phrase. It gets a little hairy. that first phrase. In rhythm, it's a kind of exactly the same. See that? But it's just slightly different with the melody. I'll do it again. Still a long B to finish, eh? Yeah, it's kind of like down the octave. Let's try it. Second and third bar of the third line. Ready, slow. Again. Last time. Let's play the pickup. So you see that another CD. Okay? So now, let's try playing that whole line, because the last line is really like a tune unto itself. It's a little like Big John. So we're going to try now just the whole third line of this tune. Ready, go. Okay, and remember at the end of each of these phrases, you got this kind of long, short thing. And so those short notes are going to be on up bows. Okay, up, up. Make it a lot easier to get through. One more time through. Make sure you get that bowing. Ready, 2, 3, go. Yeah. Okay, this is getting good. This is getting good. Now let's tackle this last bit. So that's about as long as it does Big John for. And you know, I'm going to have to pick somebody's brain, maybe Paul Cranford, and see if maybe Dan R ripped off a little tiny bit of Big John, eh? Like, I'm pretty sure Big John came before, but this is suspect. As my kids would say, sus. It's a little bit sus. Anyway, let's try that again. Lucky we already know it. Ready, go. C, arpeggiate, and then your ending. Okay, now that didn't go too badly at all. Let's do it again. Same thing. Ready, go. Okay? How are we feeling about that? Now, pick up to the part. So for the A part, we're using that run up on the D string for a pickup to repeat it. For the B part, or getting into the B part, we play an A and a B. So if I finish off the A part, hold on. Hold on. Sorry. What do I do there? It's just an A and a C is what it is. That's what it is. We're going to use an A and a C. Same as when we repeat the B part, we'll use an A and a C. But then when we go to repeat the tune, we'll be doing that run up on the D string again. Yes, Mel?
So the only two up bows are on the third line, the last bar?
Oh, no. We're doing, this tune is a perfect candidate for the up rule. So here, I'm going to share my screen so I can show everybody. Best thing to do. Least confusing. Everybody see that there? I'll make it a bit bigger. There we go. Okay. Up. Up. Same here. Same here. In the second part, this, and then the pickups. So the C, the A and the C, you're doing an up bow to repeat this. See that? Also, those triplets up on the D string, I do them in an up bow. One single up bow for those triplets up on the D string. Okay? Everybody got that? Now the reason I don't bother to write it out there in the tune is because this kind of long, short, down, up, get used to it. I mean, if you're in 4/4 time and you see a quarter note followed by 2 8th notes, that's how you're going to bow it every time, even if it was a hornpipe. Anything in 4/4, you have to do that. Otherwise, the next phrase you got to start on an up. Very, very awkward to the arm, hard to do. So make sure you get them ups in there. It's not the only way to bow it. Okay? Okay, just to clarify for people that take lessons from people that are brilliant with bowing patterns, this is just one way to bow it, but it is a very, very basic and always works way to bow it. The ups.
Quick question.
Yes.
When it doesn't say 4/4, you just assume, I counted the notes out. I can see it says it's 4/4. But when it doesn't say it, does it just default to 4/4?
Well, you got to look at the tune. Like, this has has no time signature. Wow. Sorry about that, guys. I mean, some people...
I've seen a lot of music like that.
I know. And in our music, you got to get used to it. Like, that's, my dad knew a guy that wrote out, Beautiful Lake Ainsley. I can't remember who wrote that tune. It's gorgeous. He wrote it out on the back of a cigarette package,
Oh.
So you don't have room for key signatures and time signatures, you know what I mean? So you do have to get used to it. But what you do there is you just take a quick look at it. You can see if there's 8 8 notes, you're in 4/4. If there's 2 groups of 3, you're in a jig.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay? Sometimes you got to get to know. Sometimes you got to ask somebody. It's like, oh, that's a hornpipe. Like, I think, or is it a reel? The reels and hornpipes sometimes indistinguishable when you look at them. You got to know it's a hornpipe. You know what I mean? But anyway, so there you go. All right. Shall we try the whole damn thing? Let's do it. If you don't get the pickups, don't worry too much. We'll get them eventually. And pickups are those optional things. So don't worry too much about them. But if you have questions, don't hesitate. Here we go. Ready? And... Sorry. From the top. Triplet. Now that was a workout there tonight, guys. A workout in the key of A. So I hope that went okay. And I ran us a little late tonight, so I got to go right away because I got a 6:45. So next week we will work on these two A major tunes. We will also work on the Plains of Boyle. Okay, so keep that in your mind. And if, like I said, if anybody wants to send me feedback videos or any questions, you go ahead. Yes, Deborah.
No, say goodnight. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you very much. Okay, so we'll see everybody next Monday, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.